Ben, Burnley 0, Liverpool 1. That's 4 wins out of 4. What did you make of that, mate?
Oh, my words. They don't do it easy, do they, the Reds? They do not do it easy at all. I thought, I did say, to be fair, I thought it was going to be a real test.
You did.
I thought it was going to be, a sticky game. Liverpool aren't anywhere near their fluent best at the moment, still integrating new players, still finding the best formation and the best shape. But, and add that to a Burnley side who are obviously unbeaten in a long time at home, and they're very, very well set up, and it was always a recipe for a difficult game, and so it proved to be, and we had to wait until the dying embers to get the bit of luck that we I feel like we deserved. I felt like we pushed them and pushed them and pushed them, and we made them crack at the ends, and the pressure was on, and obviously they made the mistake that they did, and Mo does what Mo does and gets us the winner. Brilliant.
I'll be honest with you, Ben. When I looked at that, when I was obviously, you saw my reactions in terms of the first half. I thought we were shocking at times, if I'm honest with you. In terms of our link-up play, in terms of the final ball in the final third, we just not kicking, is it?
No, it's not. You're right. And I'm always the eternal half glass full, eternal optimist. I always feel as though post-international break, there's never a lot of fluency. They're coming back together. They've only had maybe one training session since the international. So it's difficult to go and just click straight into gear. But I think generally speaking, we can control the game. We limited Burnley to literally nothing at all on the break. But obviously we want to see that quality in the final third. And I think it came a lot more in the second half, and we were a lot more efficient in the second half. But obviously we just didn't have that last, that last little bit of quality that we need. And maybe Alexander Isak is watching that and thinking, I would have finished a few of those chances off. But you know what? We got the job done. And at this point in the season, it's just about points, and hopefully the performances will follow.
Look, in regards to the second half, obviously Arne Slot made quite a few changes. He brought on Robbo at half-time straight away. Well, just before half-time when he made the change for Kirkes, and then we saw the tweaks that he made in terms of Bradley coming on, helping out Salah. Then towards the end, he brought on obviously Rio and Frimpong. What did you make of his actual changes in terms of tactically how well he did?
Yeah, Kirkes first. That was a really interesting one because I think we all sort of assumed that he was injured and that he was brought off because of a knock.
Tactically then, do you think?
Yeah, but I think it definitely was tactical. We looked at the clip when he was talking to them as he come off the bench, and it looked like, reading between the lines, he was saying, basically, you're on a yellow there, and the game the way that it is, we didn't want to risk going down to 10 men. He obviously is a little bit rash, isn't he? Kirkes, he likes to dive in a little bit, and that's something he's got to learn. He made, he dived as well in with that chance, so I don't think Slot was probably very happy with that. And I think just generally his game was a little bit erratic and a little bit off. So I think he just thought, you know what, I've got one of the best left backs, over the last decade on the bench, who's rejuvenated, refreshed, who will give a lot of experience. So I think he just thought it was a sensible move. And Robbo did really, really well in general. Put some really dangerous balls into the back post that we could have scored off. And the other subs, were good as well. I thought, Frimpong and Rio, obviously it was a bit late. I thought they might have come on a little bit sooner. But the fact that they just come on, add that little bit of dynamism, add that little injection of pace. Obviously, Frimpong ends up getting us the penalty, not from a run, but from a cross. And Rio obviously was dangerous and played that lovely ball into Frimpong when he came on. So, it just gave them more to think about. And I think that led to building the pressure. And ultimately, they cracked.
We're on the defence now, Ben. Liverpool now, obviously, at the first 2 games of the season, there was murmurings that Liverpool, you can get at them quite easily. That's 2 clean sheets in a row. Your thoughts on Ibu Konate and Virgil van Dijk?
Yeah, they were faultless today. They didn't have much to do. Obviously, Burnley, weren't really much of a threat, to be honest. But we never give them any encouragement. We never allowed them to be a threat. We were front-footed. We won all of the headers. We mopped up all of the potential little dangerous situations. It only takes one sort of breakaway and one dangerous situation for the crowd to get up and them to feel as though they've got encouragement and put us on the back foot, but we never give them any encouragement. So it was a pretty much faultless display from the defence, and yeah, that's never a bad thing to have 2 clean sheets back to back, and let's hope that continues.
That's 4 out of 4, Ben. 12 out of 12. The only side in the Premier League that have got 100% record, the Merseyside derby awaits next week.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know what, as I say, all the caveats are there that Liverpool have not played anywhere near their level yet. But then that's a good thing, because if you're playing nowhere near your level and you're getting 12 points because you're finding ways to win and you're doing what you need to do to get the results, then it's, you know, it's got to bode well for the future. If we were playing out of our skin and not getting results, I'd be really worried. But it's, you know, there's so much more to come from this Liverpool team, and I don't expect Everton to come to Anfield next week and put 11 men behind the ball. They'll feel good about themselves. They've started the season well, so I think they'll, you know, they won't go gung ho, but I think it'll be a lot more open game, and let's see who comes out on top. But massive game in midweek against Atletico first, so this result obviously will give them a lot of confidence, and you know, off we go now. Off we go.
Finally, your man of the match for today.
I would probably say Ryan Gravenberch was overall our most consistent performer. I thought Virgil and Ibu, they were faultless and they were superb, but they didn't have that much to do. But Ryan was just dropping the shoulder first half, controlling the game, never really put a foot wrong. That little flick where he flicked it over the player in the first half was magic. So he's a special talent, and I thought he was excellent with what he had to do. So yeah, I'd give it to Ryan.
Thank you very much for that, Ben. Liverpool 1, Burnley 0. That's Ben Mullane's post-match conference. Take care and goodbye.